Hi, I'm Casradian, and you're listening to the 7th episode of the AI era. In this shortcast, I aim to answer a question that has fascinated me since I was a kid. How will AI change our world? Currently, I work as an AI researcher and co-founder of an AI company, and in this podcast, I explore how AI will change people's life. I draw insights from my research and day-to-day experiences as a founder in the AI technology to give you a perspective on how AI will shape our world. In today's episode, I will dive into a question that has bothered me for a long time. Will AI make us happy or miserable? As we continue to shape a world where humans no longer have a monopoly on intelligence, it's worth questioning if the pursuit of AI-powered progress will lead us to a better quality of life or simply leave us wishing for a simpler past. Let's explore that topic. AI is a powerful facilitator. It boosts efficiency, multiplies productivity, and makes it possible for us to achieve more by doing less. In a lot of ways, it seems like a natural extension of what we've always pursued as humans: convenience, comfort, and a better quality of life. Think about it. Technology has always been about making things easier, about moving from manual labor to mechanical automation, and now to intelligence automation. AI, at its core, makes the world around us more efficient, which enables us to get more done with less effort. Sounds ideal, doesn't it? Well, let's pause for a moment and take a look back. Increased productivity, which is essentially the ratio of output to input, has always been at the heart of technological advancements. As we improve that ratio, we humans have historically always ended up having more and then desiring more, which then again leads to trying to have more and then desiring more. But has the cycle necessarily made us happier? Let's go back in time to get some perspective. It is estimated that our hunter-gatherer ancestors worked about 4 to 6 hours a day. That's right. In many ways, they had shorter weekdays compared to modern office workers. Of course, their productivity was far lower. They didn't have tools, infrastructure, or technology to help them gather food or protect themselves. Life was simple but often dangerous. The lack of tools and technology meant that an extreme weather event could lead to mass starvation and even death for entire tribes. They had less, but their daily routines were perhaps more relaxed. Fast forward to the early farming societies, humans settled and began to cultivate land. As a result of that, the average working hours increased significantly. Early human farmers were working 8 to 12 hours a day. That's twice as much as their hunter-gatherer ancestors. Agriculture brought stability to food production, but it also brought new hardships. It tied people to the land, demanded more labor, and in some cases made them more vulnerable to environmental disasters. And at the same time, the human population increased as a result of the available food supply. So, were they happier than the hunter-gatherers? Were they better off? It's not a straightforward answer. That trade-off between what we gain and what we lose for it still continues today. Our lives now are certainly filled with comforts that our ancestors couldn't even dream of. We have medical care, access to information, entertainment, and social connections at our fingertips. And AI is promising to take us to new heights of efficiency. But with all these achievements, are we truly happier than those who came before us? The answer lies in what makes us happy, and it's not always directly tied to how much we have. Multiple studies have shown that happiness is only to a certain extent tied to what wealth can buy us, such as food, shelter, and status. Beyond that threshold, the relationship between wealth and happiness becomes a lot less clear. The impact of having more has diminishing returns. You can only drive one car at a time, sleep in one bed, and eat one meal at a time. So, more does not necessarily mean happier. Now, here, another important consideration is inequality. And this is where technological progress, like AI, starts to become a double-edged sword. Technological advancements often lead to increased inequality, as we discussed before. Those who have the tools and the knowledge to leverage new technologies end up getting ahead of the others. This creates disparities within society, and studies have shown that increased inequality tends to reduce the average happiness of a population. Human beings are inherently social creatures. We often evaluate our circumstances not objectively, but relative to those around us. When inequality rises, feeling of inadequacy, envy, and frustration also rise, which drags down the overall happiness of a population. The rise of AI could either exacerbate this trend or help alleviate it. It depends entirely on how we as a society choose to distribute rewards and benefits that AI generates. This brings us back to a critical question I posed in a previous episode. How will we distribute AI's rewards? If the benefits of AI are shared among a privileged few while the majority are left behind, we risk creating a world where people have more but are ultimately less happy. However, if we find ways to ensure a more equitable distribution of the rewards, perhaps AI could make us happier than we are today. At the same time, we must remember that enforced redistribution, like what happened in many communist societies, also leads to significant risks. History has shown us that forcing equality through strict redistribution can lead to extreme forms of government control and sometimes result in oppressive dictatorships. When the government has too much power over who gets what, it can limit freedom and create an environment of fear rather than happiness. So, finding a fair way to distribute AI's benefits is not an easy task, and it requires careful thoughts to avoid falling into either of these two extremes. Now, imagine a future where AI not only makes us work more efficient, but also frees us from drudgery and repetitive tasks that drain our energy. Imagine AI that enables us to spend more time on things that brings us joy, like meaningful social connections or creating art. But for that to happen, we need to be intentional about how we use these technologies. We need to make sure AI is used to benefit people as a whole, not just to increase the situation of those who already have access to resources. So, will AI make us happy or miserable? The answer is not set in stone. It's largely up to us. If AI becomes a tool that only amplifies the existing inequalities, it could indeed lead to a world where people are less happy despite having more. But if we see AI as a means to create a society that values human well-being, it has the potential to create immense happiness and free us to pursue things that truly matter to us. At the end of the day, AI couldn't be inherently good or bad for our happiness. It's all about how we use it. So let's try to use it in a way that makes us not only more productive, but also happier. Alright, that's all for this episode of the AI Era. In the next episode, I will explore whether AI is going to follow our objectives or those of its own. Until then, adapt and evolve.